Breakfast Puppies?
This podcast contains adult language and content and is meant for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
We're all set to begin, so let's dive right in to bikers, dice, and bars. Talking bicycles and motorbikes, gamer things and all the like. You can listen to it in your cars, but mostly it's about dive bars. Bikers, dice, and bars.
Hey, Jacob, what you got in your glass over there?
I'm drinking a sangria.
Still carrying it forward.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. Which one?
I am back to the house wine sangria.
Same.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm doing a little house with a little
Who
truly.
gave you multiple glasses? You had a choice in this matter?
Xander, I'm just going to get a big motherfucking straw and stick it in that jug of Carlo Rossi and just make you beg for mercy.
If you haven't listened to our previous episode, dear
And
listener,
you're
go
gonna
back and
like it.
listen to it.
I will go and do that and then curl up in the corner and cry myself to sleep.
I will make a martini with your tears.
Fun fact,
That's
that's
fair.
also part of how I got the nickname, the Satan's personal bartender.
Oh my God.
What?
If we made a cocktail called Xander's Tears, what's in it? Jacob.
I am working on that as we speak.
Salt, light salt.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. It's going to be Carlo Rossi sangria. It's going to be
Crown apple.
Crown apple.
And,
No.
and
Nope.
the game whole somehow is
Nope.
going to play in there.
Yeah.
Nope.
Buttery butthole. What was that?
The crime scene MD.
No.
Yeah.
I am not.
I'm not
Honestly,
killing Xander.
honestly, I may have been working on this for the last couple of months.
I'm sorry, what?
Are you psychic? Are you a witch?
I am not a witch. No.
Just an asshole.
And I decided the ground rules were I could not use any liquor or cocktail base that I'd already inflicted on Xander.
Oh, God.
I'm just using his knowledge, my knowledge of his taste in spirits.
We should have a design competition for like if we were going to have a label on a bottle of a mixed cocktail drink called Xander's Tears. Like, what would that label look like? We should have a competition.
Speaking of making Xander suffer, you're listening to Bikers, Dice, and Bars, recorded here in Portland, Oregon. I'm NPC.
I'm just Jacob.
Why am I here? Oh, sorry. Dr. Xander Gerrymander.
And I'm Mistress Poppy Beaujolais.
And I will accept my punishment.
So, dear listener, I'm going to go ahead and put this out here. If you have suggestions for clever cocktails that can make Xander cry, send them to us, please, and we'll catalog them.
I
for a
thought
rainy
we were
day.
friends.
You've been gloating this whole night about making us suffer with something you brought. Just say it.
And I would like to point out this is the first recording session after the one where you brought the Mad Dog.
I thought we were friends, Xander.
I at least have the common decency not to back my trauma on you guys.
And this is
That is fair, and I accept my punishment.
And this is our first barrier-free recording too.
Yes, it is.
Because
Why is that?
Because we're vaccinated. We're vaccinated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone at this table is vaccinated.
Yes.
And again, why is it so important to get your fucking vaccine?
Because we give a shit about other people.
Wait, you care about the rest of humanity and wanting to go and make sure that this pandemic gets ground to a stop and you want people to survive and not die?
Let me tell you a little story about herd immunity.
Because you know how bullshit that phrase army of one is? Society of one is equally bullshit.
Yeah. If you don't understand that the things you do have an effect on other people, you might be a sociopath
Or an asshole?
or just a sparkling asshole. If you're from the sparkling asshole region of France.
I wonder if people are going to listen to this and be like, They're bringing politics into it. This isn't politics.
This isn't politics,
This is
guys.
fucking humanity.
This is science.
Yeah.
Science is true, whether you believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go to a dark place real quick right now because
Garth Marenghis's dark place?
no,
Arkansas?
actually, yes. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, get your fucking vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my girlfriend to COVID. No one else has to die if you do your fucking part. She's from Arkansas. The same,
Really?
the same town that Johnny Cash was born in.
Holy shit.
Oh, just north of Arkansas, Cannibal Hillbilly country.
That's why I called her Bits Arcana.
I'd like to raise a glass to Bits Arcana.
Bitsy girl.
Yeah,
Bits Arcana.
gone before your time.
No one else has to die. Get your fucking vaccine shot.
Yeah, I've lost 2 family members.
I've lost
well.
friends, and friends have lost loved ones.
Yeah.
And I work in healthcare, so
Ditto.
I'm just going to
anyways.
say, be a fucking patriot and do your fucking part for this country.
You know?
If you don't get your fucking shot, you're not a patriot.
No.
You're a
Mhm.
traitor and you hate this country.
Yes.
I'm going to say it straight up. You're the same kind of fucking person that flies a Confederate flag.
I'm just going to go one step further. You hate this world, period. Anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to, I don't want to condemn everyone. And here's the reason. My mom got her shot. Bless her. She finally got her shot. And the reason she didn't get her shot initially is because her doctor fucking told her not to.
Exactly.
Because my mom is in her 70s and has had cancer multiple times in her life and survived them all. And her doctor was like, you probably shouldn't get it just yet until we know more.
Right.
And then once the doctor finally said, okay, I think it's going to be good, she went out, she got the J&J, and everything was fine.
And there are a lot of valid reasons to not get the vaccine. Age is a factor. Underlying health conditions is a factor. If you deal with any sort of chronic illness, talk to your primary care provider.
Yeah.
There are good reasons to not get the vaccine from a scientific and medical standpoint. However, if you don't fall into that category,
You have no excuse.
you have no excuse, and you are putting the people who cannot get the vaccine at greater risk.
Which is right now anybody under the age of 12 as well.
Yes.
Yes.
And again, I absolutely agree with Jacob. There are certain people that fall into certain categories that cannot go and get a vaccine right now. We are not shitting on you.
No.
Make sure that you know this. We are in support of whatever your primary care doctor tells you to do. And also, listen to your primary care doctor. I'm sure the vast majority of people out there, their doctor's going to tell them to get the fucking shot. So do it. I went to the Oregon Convention Center, which was a well-oiled machine for vaccines.
Yes, it was.
It was not a line where I stood in. The line never stopped moving. It was a continuous movement because a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses, a lot of general practitioners, and the Oregon National Guard came out, and they fucking made it work, and it was great.
That's a good segue. Let's talk about our experiences getting the vaccine. Mine was...
Wait a minute. At this table, who got their vaccine first?
Me.
Let's go in that order.
When'd you get it?
I got my first shot in December.
Oh, that's way before me, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, you're first. Let's do this in oldest to newest.
Okay. Hold on one second. Xander, are you all right? Do you need a minute? You good? Okay. Just checking. Reading the room. So without giving away too much about my personal off-mic life, because of where I work, I was probably one of the first people to get the vaccine, maybe in Portland.
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
Unless you worked for OHSU.
I plead the fifth. Anyway.
Fifth.
I got my first shot of Pfizer on December 23rd. And then I got my second shot 21 days later, and sometime in January. So I've been vaccinated since fucking January.
And how did the shots go for you?
You know, I was actually I was surprised and also not surprised.
Let me frame that up a little bit more.
Mhm.
You had yours in like a work provided clinical setting, correct?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
And so what was your after effects on both rounds?
So first shot, I said, I got a drink. Excuse me. First shot felt like I'd been punched in the fucking arm. It is right up there with a tetanus shot or like a Gardasil shot. Really painful. And it's nothing to do with the way it was administered. It just fucking hurt. I had very, very few, very mild adverse reactions to the immunization. But I personally am not one who normally reacts to immunizations. I can get an immunization and then go fucking do whatever I want usually. This one, I was a little tired for like a day. I had a little bit of extra joint stiffness, but that was about it.
And which one did you get, if you don't mind?
Pfizer.
Pfizer.
I got Pfizer.
Okay.
My second shot, which everybody was telling me like, oh, the second shot's the worst and da-da-da-da. I had zero effects to the shot other than a little bit of a sore arm.
So would you say you had no FX?
Oh.
No, mine was actually, my experience was rather pleasant.
Okay. Xander, I believe you're next.
Yeah, I'm pulling out my vaccine record card right now from the CDC. I got my first shot on February 21st. Does that make me second?
Yep, that makes you second.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, went to the Oregon Convention Center. It was a well-oiled machine to get your vaccine. Like the line never stopped moving. It was just continuous. And Oregon, a National Guard helped out there.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to my friend that I will not name who helped me with that early shot. Going there was very emotional for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had lost my girlfriend to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Just wish she could have held out a few more months to go and get this.
Mm-hmm.
And the nurse that I had there, I was like this, like him right now. And she goes, if you have any worries, any concerns, you can talk to me. I'm like, it's not because of that.
Yeah.
It's because I lost someone that I loved 3 months earlier. I wish she could be here. And that nurse was so nice and so sweet and so kind and so patient.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I remembered her name, but you were wonderful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So no one else has to die. Get your shot.
Mm-hmm. How'd you feel afterwards?
So the after effects were not bad. It felt like I got punched in the arm real hard, kind of like Poppy was saying. It's like, well, it's kind of sore, not so bad. And then when I got the second shot, it felt like I got punched in the arm harder. And I had some mobility issues. Again, I'm a bartender. I got to reach on top shelf sometimes. And so, reaching up higher, like hurt after I got above, shoulder length.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of the extent of the bad symptoms. But other than that, it was just soreness. That's all. Nothing bad. Get your fucking shot.
And which one did you get?
I also got Pfizer. And so, funny story, they hooked me up for my second vaccine shot the day after St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, no.
And when you work at a place called a McMinimans, I had a 16-hour shift.
Oh, God.
And, racked in $3,700 in sales by myself, alone, one shift. I got my ass handed to me, and then like, oh yeah, so if you want to come back for your second shot day after St. Patrick's Day at 8:45 a.m. And I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And I'm like, look, I'm a bartender at St. Patrick's Day the day before. And the nurse went, look, just go and show up whenever you can. Don't worry about the time. We have you scheduled for 8:45 a.m. wherever the fuck it was. If you show up a half hour later, it's going to be fine.
Just get your fucking shot.
Just come in. And I showed up, I think, at 9:15, and they were like, yeah, you're all good.
Mm-hmm.
So, the time constraints are kind of wobbly. Don't worry about it. As long as you get your dose, just get it.
NPC, you were the next.
My setup was I have no circumstances. I've lived life on easy mode because I am a healthy adult white male, which means that I'm last in line to get the shot until it becomes, whatever. whatever. I'm okay with that. I accepted this fact. So I just stayed at home for months and months and months and months and months. And then finally they opened it up to a category that I qualified for. I was asthmatic. That was my thing. So because I had asthma, I got in.
Also because you lived with somebody who worked in healthcare.
Yeah. Well, those two things both got added to the list at the same time.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to airport parking lot. They had this whole drive-through thing. And
red lot.
You go in and, you get in line, you get the shot, you got to wait for 15 minutes and then you leave. Including the 15-minute wait, I think the whole thing took maybe 17 minutes. And there was a lot of cars there. Like Xander was saying, it was a well-oiled machine. It was just cars moving through. And despite the fact that they were just moving through people, everybody that worked there was fantastic. Like even the people with the fucking wavy, glowy sticks moving people down the way and turning them, they were having a good time. Like they were clearly into the job that they were doing. They were there because they wanted to be there, and they were all fantastic.
And I just want to say, if you were one of those wavy, glowy stick people, if you're one of the nurses, one of the doctors, one of the whoever they called in to do these things, to administer these shots, you're goddamn heroes in my eyes.
Yeah. Some of them working overtime. Some of them were just volunteering.
However, whatever
amazing.
your circumstances was, like, we love you, we appreciate you, we support you, and I'm going to say it right here: if whenever a frontline worker comes into my bar, their first drink's on me.
Nice.
That's just how it is, because you've saved people's lives.
My first shot, the only adverse effects I had was a sore arm that felt like a tetanus shot, sore arm kind of thing. And it persisted for like a week and a half. Like I worked it, I moved it, and that fucking soreness was there. That was it. The second shot, the moment that needle went into me, I felt whatever was coming out of it. I physically felt it moving into my body. I felt that ink blot spread into my veins. I felt the flow. It was so strange. And within a minute, this wasn't even a mental thing. Like I was prepared for this, whatever. Within a minute, I had that iron taste in my mouth. My skin felt clammy. I'm like, this is going to suck. The rest of the day was fine-ish, whatever. I felt kind of down. That evening, I felt like I had gotten run over by a dump truck. The next morning, felt okay. By the afternoon, I felt like I had been run over by a dump truck again. And this continued for 5 fucking days. Morning, fine. Afternoon, evening, fuck. And then I drank a shitload of Gatorade and felt great. Yeah.
Yeah. And which one did you get?
Pfizer.
And I just want to note on this, too, that feeling like you've been run over by a dump truck is not as bad as suffering from COVID. We want to make sure we make that point clear.
Yeah. I had a couple of coworkers who had very strong reactions to the vaccine and were just laid out for like 2 or 3 days. Still not as bad as COVID, y'all.
So I got my vaccine last. I had a ton of opportunities to jump the line for various reasons. Health conditions, connections, et cetera, I chose not to take those options and just wait because I was working from home. And I was not eligible, like a lot of my coworkers, to volunteer at the Oregon Convention Center or the airport. In fact, there's a high likelihood that someone who helped Xander or NPC get their shot was a coworker of mine. And they were doing it on volunteer time. They weren't getting paid. They were lucky if they got PTO. If they worked for us, they did. Because our company decided to give extra PTO to people who volunteered for vaccine delivery. And I waited my turn. I even put it off a little bit because the first opportunity I had was right while I was moving, and moving with vaccine effects was just not going to happen.
Not so good.
Well, then I got my first shot, and I tend to be slightly reactive to vaccines anyways. I get my annual flu vaccine. I schedule it for a Friday afternoon because I know I'm going to be laid out all weekend. I got my first shot, and the shot itself wasn't bad. The next 3 fucking days were like a revisit to when I had mono. Body aches, memory was fucked up. I hurt. I was sweating. My pallor was all fucked up. If Amanda hadn't known what was going on, she was going to throw me in the car and take me to the hospital. But my second shot, which happened just last Tuesday, other than a sore arm and a little bit of tiredness the day of, I was fine. I am tracking on what a study out of Pittsburgh University has shown is the stereotypical reaction for someone who had a prior case of COVID. In January of 2020, I got super sick for about 5 days. Thought it was the flu.
It's worth noting you fucking never get sick.
I never get sick.
You have an ironclad immune system for lots of reasons.
Yeah,
like you never get sick. Yeah.
So do I, actually.
It was the most sick time I'd taken off in a calendar year in over a decade. Well, just slightly less than a decade. But it wrecked me. The first shot just absolutely wrecked me. And that's what they're finding for the Pfizer vaccine, which I got through Kaiser Permanente, which is where I get my workplace insurance through. Also, an amazing, well-oiled machine.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. And that said, day to day, I get to help people organize their shots, and I get to deal with people who are experiencing COVID. And as someone who quite likely had COVID, because all of my symptomology lines up with what the Pittsburgh study shows for people who got the Pfizer vaccine with a prior case of COVID, I still found the vaccine to be better than that 5-day stretch when I was out in January. Just do it. It may be miserable for you if you were an asymptomatic carrier and you just didn't know it, no fault of your own. Just do it. Follow the instructions. Definitely don't take ibuprofen before your shot or the day after, or aspirin or Tylenol. Just deal with the discomfort.
Just suffer
for that 24-hour window. Let the vaccine take hold. And after that, just hydrate like crazy. Don't drink the day before. These are the tips. The data's there. And more evidence says that while the vaccine is not as effective against some of the other strains that are circulating, they offer some protection to keep you out of an ICU and off a ventilator. And let me tell you, folks, that's what we want to avoid.
And on that note as well, even, there's some hesitancy about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine because of its efficacy rate. But what it will do is keep you off a ventilator, keep you out of an ICU, and keep you from transmitting the disease more. So because of those 3 reasons, whatever vaccine you can get, just fucking get it.
Nobody responds to that. Thanks for listening to Bikers, Dice, and Bars. I'm NPC.
I'm just Jacob.
Dr. Xander, Gerrymander.
I am Poppy Beaujolais.
And we wish to remind you to get vaccinated.
Yep.
Thanks for listening.
These are the best shots you can ever take in your life.
Thanks for joining us, friend. We've reached the end of Bikers, Dice, and Bars. Talking bicycles and motorbikes. Yep.